It's an Abbasid HRE matchup.
Yeah,
Let's
first
see
time seeing
here.
Abbasid today.
Yeah, they've been falling out of favor or kind of the meta a little bit just because the Pro Scouts meta. A little more, obviously, Abbasid is more the TC state of mind and not as much deer, bringing deer back to your town center kind of plays, though. Their Pro Scouts can be a little slower, and by the time that happens, most of the deer are gone kind of situation. And HRE, speaking of Pro Scouts, is a very good civ in terms of Pro Scouts because they can bring it back under the Aachen, and it can just be super Pro Scouts, the most pro.
Yeah, once that deer is home, they got professional harvesters under that Aachen.
Exactly.
Yeah, we saw that a little earlier today. Just the strength that HRE has if they are able to secure that deer, bring it home to the Aachen. But I am super curious what Valdemar is cooking up here with the Abbasids now. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to keep up with the meta over the past couple of weeks, so this is going to be a little bit of a surprise for me. I've heard whisperings that he has been playing around with Abbasid, and like you're saying, I mean, yeah, they're so eco-focused with their 2TC, but we are in a spot where the eco bonus that you get from Pro Scouts trumps the investment of two town centers. So they've fallen
Yeah.
off. I'm curious to see what they do against the HRE, who is very, very likely looking to snag up those deer for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, especially in the early stages of the game, the food income from Pro Scouts is going to be so hard to keep up with. Even if you're scaling with your town centers as Abbasid, the amount of food that the opponent gets and the amount of units that they put on the field is just so hard to deal with. You put yourself in a pretty difficult position, right? Especially since if you also go Pro Scouts as well, you're also investing in kind of double investing to your economy, let's say, but you're probably going to end up getting less of the deer. You're going to get it slower. And by the time that happens, HRE is on their way to castle. But I do want to talk about the starting build from Valdemar. He opts not to go for the berries, as you've seen literally every single
Mm-hmm.
Abbasid game in existence, except maybe hybrid maps, of course. But he's going military wing. He's getting the sheep to start things off, and is pretty heavy on wood as he transitions into the age up. So, yeah, interested to see what Valdemar is actually planning and going for with this build. Now, the other thing is that if he wasn't going aggressive, which it looks like he is, he does have double forward wood line, so it could be very vulnerable in terms of a feudal play. He does have, a nice back deer that he can protect from the pro scouts, and he can also nice backstone and gold, of course. But if it's a feudal play, a long feudal play against HRE with pro scouts, it could be, getting dicey, and that two forward wood lines could be a pretty important target for Muhodo.
Yeah, for sure. A military wing, at least that will get him that tempo to at least start counteracting pro scouts, getting those early units either over to the deer packs on the other side of the map to slow down the professional scouts, or maybe find some damage, if at all possible, inside the HRE base. I mean, the gold
Oh,
is
exactly.
exposed, but we shall wait and see. Aachen Chapel is just about to finish up here. Military wing not too far behind. We got villagers moving out to the berries for the HRE. Aachen is finished, and we'll see what direction they want to take their feudal age in.
Yeah, I mean, classic pro scouts setup here from Muhodo. And he queues it up pretty fast upon age up. So pretty clean build that way. There's a house that's outside of the TC range, so we'll see what. I mean, in terms of the pressure he's going to be under. I don't know how much he's scouted. Looks like Valdemar is going for the second TC behind it, so it's going to be like that OG military wing to put pressure, and then also going for double town center behind it. And Muhodo is he has a scout nearby, so he's going to be able to scout this pretty efficiently and pretty fast. Um, but yeah, let's see what Muhodo does in response. He has a good amount of people on wood, and we'll see if he drops down production or towers or what he goes with.
Yeah, we shall say for sure he does have those scouts queued up, and they are running all the way across the map. Oop, oh, the line disappeared. There we go. Going for the deer pack just to the south of the Abbasid base here. You can see the first scout from Muhodo just hanging out there. Professional Scouts finishes up, and he is going to grab that first carcass. Meanwhile, you see the rotation from Valdemar's military wing units come towards gold. Not going to find anything. All these HRE vills very close to the town center.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Because in terms of spawn, the deer packs for Muhodo, they're right next to each other, and they're very easy to deny at this point with the military wing units. Muhodo goes for the barracks instead, and he goes for the men-at-arm play, especially just to kind of clear out the military wing units, because he does see that there is no, follow-up in terms of units and aggression from Valdemar. Valdemar does put down his TC on the deer in the back, which is probably already pretty safe based on the spawn. Nice little cheap wall in the middle of his wood lines, and like you said, Muhodo's kind of working on that deer pack that is exposed from Valdemar, and he's able to get, I think, 2 already, maybe 3, and he's kind of focusing on that. And I think the idea is that to clear out this military wing in the meantime, and then by that time you've gotten your opponent's deer pack, and then you focus on your own, right? And then you double down and go from there, which is a pretty good plan. And I'm kind of curious to see what Valdemar's transition is, and it looks like the tower on gold could signal a more castle focused play, which I'm sure Muhodo is not too in terms of a castle rush race with HRE with pro scouts. I'm sure Muhodo will fare well.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna mind that too much. See that men-at-arms still giving those military wing units a lot of trouble here. And like you said, that one men-at-arm comes over and just completely opens up this whole area for Muhodo to start taking with the pro scouts. See Valdemar getting survival techniques. And that's one way to deny a deer pack. You just throw down a town center in the middle of it. And that one is going over to you. You're not going to lose anything. We see the men-at-arms have chased those units all the way back at this point.
I don't know if you remember back when Molly had that whole Warrior Scouts, fast Warrior Scouts, every game is pro scouts kind of build. That you would just, doesn't matter if there's a TC, you just mass warrior scouts, and you go in there and steal all the deer. But I think in this position, Valdemar doesn't have to worry about that too much. It's nice and snug in the back, and he's eating it up pretty quick as well. So I think he should be fine. Like you said, the men-at-arms is doing a lot of work to clear out the military wing mass, and this is, of course, viable and good in terms of the men-at-arm play, because Valdemar is not doing any further aggression, right? He doesn't have an archery range, he doesn't have a stable or anything like that. Normally against Abbasid and Feudal, Age 2 men-at-arm is not great, because of course they have the camel archers and direct counters that way. But we do see kind of similar age-up timings, actually. Of course, HRE can put more villagers on that and kind of get a head start on that relic gathering, but all things considered, Valdemar is not too behind, right? The problem is at this point that HR is going to have so much income in terms of food, and he's going to pump those castle age units to try to get map control and get those relics. It's just for the Abbasid player, that's 2 TC, and it's not just 2 TC from Eco Wing, for example. It's the 2 TC from Military Wing. You pay full price for it, so it could get pretty difficult for Valdemar to kind of contest map control and fight for the relics.
Yeah, it's certainly gonna be tricky to deny, especially maybe he'd have a chance at one of them if it was back in the corner with his TC, but those are pretty open for the taking currently for Muhodo. And one of those things, you think about, like, okay, Abbasid went 2 TC. They couldn't really do much against pro scouts except for locking down one deer pack. But maybe you think as Abbasid, okay, well, I've got 2 TC. This will eventually build up over time, and HRE will eventually run out of deer carcasses. But then you get to the point, well, they've got a regnant, and you can't do anything really at this moment to deny the relics. So they're going to have that passive income as well. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they can run out of deer, which is probably not going to happen too fast, although it is on their Aachen, so it's kind of like, it might run out a little faster, but it's not a bad thing because you're getting all the resources faster. The thing is, it's kind of like the HRE China matchup, right? China goes to TC, kind of sets up his economy and stuff like that, but by that time, HRE has those relics and is already into Imp and has a bunch of TCs, right? So it's kind of that matchup, except HRE has even more food income. And now, one thing is that, of course, you wound up with the Eco Wing for the Castle 8, so you can actually drop down farms and set up his economy that way. But we do see, looks like
Knight's coming over just in time. Yeah, I was getting nervous that those Vills are in such an exposed position, but Valdemar able to save himself with a couple of Knights, drive back the HRE for the time being.
Yeah. I mean, there's how many? 1 + 1, one on the way, one already secured relics, and I don't know if Valdemar has Mosta. He does, and he has one Imam out there, but yeah, I mean, Muhodo has 4, and 3 of them are out and about, and he has to secure this berry patch, right? This is the only kind of food that he desperately needs. The other berry parts on the other side, and Muhodo realizes this, or at least realizes that his army is bigger, he has more food income, and just gonna push him back, and he goes right back to the berries, and it could be tough for Valdemar to find this. There's 2 towers going up, luckily, but there's way more villagers there.
Yeah, a lot of exposed villagers at this point, a lot getting idled out as well. Valdemar coming over to defend it, but you can see the stream of blue dots from Muhodo.
Yeah.
The train is coming in, looking to put the pressure here. We can take out as many villagers as possible.
Not only that, the stream of HRE units are, streaming, but also he has 1,900 food right now. He's well on his way to Imperial Age. Just like, I mean, this is what we were talking about, right? They can end the age up started, right? They can put so much pressure. Essentially, they had more army, and they have, roughly equal army at this point. All the while giving the opponent a hard time and aging up behind it, right? And the deer isn't even completely depleted, and he's going to be a slow farm transition. But Muhodo does recognize the food issue of the opponent, right? He has the scout on the other side just to see if he's on those berries, and of course the big pressure was on the left side of the map in terms of Valdemar's berries. So yeah, I mean, like we said, exactly, he's going in. Doesn't matter if you have 2 TC. 2 TC is not even that big of a deal in terms of for Abbasid. It's military wing 2 TC, like I said. So yeah, and a bit of a pickle, I feel like Valdemar might be.
For sure. Valdemar might, taking a look at where his military is on the map, he might know that he's got to strike now. He's got to do something. I mean, Muhodo stopped his unit production, slowed down the pressure on him. And there's the Imperial notification, and Valdemar needs to deal some damage here. Units about to connect. The first couple of HRE Vills go down, but the Swabia is there to recreate the Vills even faster than Valdemar can kill him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you're going Imp with HRE, you probably want a tower or 2, but Muhodo did put his landmark, that is the, what's it called? The Palace of Swabia pretty safe in between his Aachen. I mean, Valdemar is diving right now. He's getting pretty good value, but he can't really stay here for too long. He doesn't have... I mean, this is a 13-minute age up, right? This is a 13-minute Imp age up, and Valdemar is 2 TC, and looking at the relic count, actually, right? 3 relics to 1, and there's 1 out there, or is 1
The one
back
is...
something?
Yeah, like right outside of the Regnants.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now you have to do... I mean, he's going for Springles, actually. I think he recognizes that there's no, static defenses at this point, so he doesn't have to worry about a tower, a bombard tower, or anything like that. Mostly units. that he has to worry about, and smash infantry. Now, this could get dicey actually for Muhodo because he doesn't have that much army around. You definitely want a tower, just like even speed it up or something, because you have the stone, you have the resources to get that bombard tower. You need one tower with a relic inside, and you're all you're all set, kind of thing, right? But yeah, we'll see how this push goes.
Yeah, it's a pretty large mass on the front of the base. You see Muhodo like incorporating some hand cannoners, some more spears into the mix behind this. Valdemar right now deleting the houses parked outside of the forward production, trying to poke in with his knights, pick up some vills that might be on the berries.
And the relic gets on the ground, gets sniped away. Like I said, he is actually going for that fast, rushes up a tower just so he can get a relic in there and then have a bombard emplacement. But he probably should queue right away, and he does queue. Valdemar just going for, just one ram. The problem is that there was a few forward production, so the hand cannoner making out of this forward production might be not the best place to make that of. You're probably gonna lose those units, but like I said, if there's a tower and he can hold somewhat, then obviously Muhodo is going to be a great position. He has 4 relics. He has what's it called? What was the relic upgrade?
Tithe Barns.
There we go.
He's got
Tithe
Barns,
Barns, and
yeah.
he's all set in that terms. Yeah.
Yeah. The question is though, military count here, because Valdemar's got a pretty imposing force coming around the north and east side of the base here. You see that forward production starting to go down, villagers being picked off when they can. Muhodo now capturing every sacred site, but the Rams are in onto the Regnants at this point, and that's where the army is as well for Valdemar. So Muhodo needs to get some more units out on the field to slow this down.
Yeah, I mean, Muhodo just needs to hold, right? Just needs to hold, not die here, and he'll be in a great position. And let's remember that Valdemar doesn't have a farm strategy. He's still on those 2 berries, and once those run out, that's going to be a problem. Now, obviously, you also need food as HRE, but those farms are getting dropped down. There's a lot more farms than Valdemar. The only other problem is that these farms might as well be, indefinitely idled if Valdemar is pushing here, right? And it looks like Valdemar's doing a great job with his unit production and a lot of siege. Like I said, that counters the army, so he's in a great position to fight the army of Muhodo. You just need, like I said, and he is doing it. HRE, Muhodo's getting those towers up. He already has 1 tower with the bombard emplacement. He has another tower, and he's queued up. I don't know if he can save those 2 relics, and he's probably going to try, but yeah, a relic, and then the only thing you need is kind of either mass units or a Trev or something. But right now it's still dicey because it's a lot of siege, a lot of units from Walmart.
A lot of units, yeah, a lot of units knocking on the door. It feels like Muhodo just super exposed, lack of towers on the front. Valdemar able to break in, but this is going to be harder to break through and penetrate later on in the game. Production is much safer now with the towers. Regnants on fire. The charge for emergency repairs has been used. So we are going to see the Regnants go down. The Treb in the back for Valdemar. Mango able to connect with a decent amount of spears. Valdemar looking to push in further.
Yeah. Every kind of siege weapon there for Valdemar right now, just to cover his bases. And I mean, Muhodo is trying to keep that Regnus up for dear life, but kind of worth it, right? Every minute with Tithe Barns, you're getting insane amount of resources. So I think that's what he was trying to go with. Now there's a relic spawning in the front in terms of the Regnus, and 1 in the back. So hopefully he can get the 1 back. But now with the Treb, is getting a little more tricky because then the towers are more vulnerable. And we do see a dive in there. I'm not sure about this fight for Muhodo, but I guess there's no choice, right? There is a hand cannon mass in the back, right? The Mangoes kind of need to focus that.
Yeah, Mango's picking up some good hits on the spears. We did see a culverin that looked like it lured a bunch of Valdemar's units into the back of his base to get picked off. And for the first time in a while, we are seeing Valdemar with fewer units on the field than Muhodo. Keep drop, though, coming down on the wood line by Valdemar. That wall of siege is imposing, but spears
I don't know.
running up to the crossbows.
I don't know why Muhodo has a back wood line. It's probably better for his villagers to be in the back anyways. I think this keep is not that big of a problem. You just kind of have to win. Oh, he's sacrificing a lot of villagers to kill those. I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't know either. That was so many villagers running right into the middle of that with their torches out, looking to take out the mangonels. Able to pick off one, but they have been idle for so long now. We can see them circle around the backside of that wood line, looking for a safer spot here.
And the gold up top, right, too, because he, you know, HRE needs another gold right now. I mean, he does have a lot of relics, but let's remember there's hand cannons being produced, so a lot of gold necessary. There's a tower out in the left side of the gold, and it's already fortified soon, so those villagers also gone. But like I said, you don't need to kind of try to deny the keep. You're gonna have a culverin. It's gonna be fine. I think, like I said, those villagers in the back would probably be better, be safer. That wood line's almost gone anyways. Doesn't really matter. You're gonna have the siege, imp siege. So yeah, now there's a lot of villagers lost. There's 56 villagers being lost by Muhodo. Now it's kind of like, yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, absolutely insane. And you take a look at the vills that were pulled off to the far gold, but I mean, I feel like it still has fairly safe gold, or did. We see Valdemar now dropping the tower on the gold in the back, really shutting that down, preventing the HRE as much as possible from taking the gold. You see the blueprints for the towers, and now a knight from Valdemar gonna find those vills.
Okay, now like this. I think there, you know, Muhodo was in a great position. I think. Granted, it's difficult with this full on, you know, push, but a lot of villagers unnecessarily being lost. I'm not sure why he doesn't like to go. He doesn't want to go in the back of his base. There's a nice little snug corner with double gold and a huge wood line. I think could have been of some use, but right now, like you said, now it's a problem. Now this. Because what do you even make here? You need a big. Because right now, after the Springald meta change, you need a bigger. You either need 1,000 horsemen or you need bigger siege mass.
Yep. It's gonna be very difficult for Muhodo to construct. Take a look at the front of his base. Second keep, 3 Trebs, 3 Mangoes, 3 Springalds, all waiting for the HRE to even dare move in that direction.
Yeah. I do have to say, if when Muhodo aged up, he had 1 tower kind of forward a little bit with bombardment placement, and he doesn't get idled out as much, this could be a very different game. Of course, if he doesn't pull all those villagers and lose those villagers, that's also a huge factor here. But yeah, Valdemar is able to pull off a 2 TC military wing, a great push here. And like you said, he's towering the double goal on his side of the base, or in Muhodo's side of the map, just to know if he's on there. Yeah, I mean, there is a horseman transition right now, which makes sense, but feels like a little too late with double keep in front of his base with triple trebs and a bunch of all sorts of sieging units.
Yeah, just a giant mass. the static defense that the keeps, and just
the wall
range and firepower. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is brutal. A couple vills are gonna sneak out and see this. They'll take their shanks out.
This villager pull makes sense, right?
Yeah, you can take this.
This I support. But yeah, that keep. Yeah. 59 villager kills to 10. With the huge siege ball, looking tough for Muhodo, and this could just be a landmark snipe right now, right? All the landmarks are within 1 screen. You just need to trap them down, and there's no way Muhodo can push under those 2 keeps in a billion units. So Yeah, it's pretty looking a little grim for Muhodo, I do have to say.
Yeah, and look at this. We've got a potential for another tower on the stone. Just all these resources around Muhodo's base. Valdemar is coming over to just drop towers and deny that. Choking about a real classic siege here. Can't expand anywhere, and there's the age up to Imp going up with a culture wing. We'll see if that completes before the game is over.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to say it's an impressive play because it's a 4-1 relic game. It's a 13-minute age up, and I mean, it does look scary when the push happens. But like I said, that was a perfectly safe age up. Just a tower, you know, and then kind of. The problem is after the deer runs out, you're gonna have a food situation, right? And the opponent is not doing a farm transition, and you are doing a farm transition, so that could be dicey there. But I think he was in a good position. But right now, it's just kind of a insurmountable siege ball with the military, you know, advantage, and he's going imp, so I'm not sure where you go from here.
I don't either. It is pretty crazy to think of all the advantages that HRE had over the course of the game. Having professional scouts, having 4 relics, like you said, just a little more defense at the top, and the presence of mind, I guess, to not lose that many villagers.
All our spears are dying in the middle.
Yep. Bloodbath there. The game
yeah, I mean, this is
not over. The Valdemar moving back, getting forced.
Yeah, I mean,
away.
Valdemar just doesn't want to risk it, right? Because he's aging up in 10 seconds. He just want to get those imp upgrades, and you don't know 1,000 horsemen might show up, kind of thing, which is probably a good thing to do, kind of just to hold off a little bit because you don't want to risk it. But a horseman just straight from the beginning would have been definitely a good option. Oh, he actually deletes all the traps.
Look at that! The traps just explode.
I don't know. He's just gonna. I'm not sure if that. He's just gonna more, you know, army is what he's going for.
I guess, yeah. I don't see other siege being added to the production queue, so he's just making room for people. Not going into, you know, potentially culverins or bombards or anything like that. Just making more crossbows.
Yeah, I mean, right now it kind of gives a little life to Muhodo, it feels like, because the village, I mean, Swabia is just insane, man. You lose 70 villagers, and you're fine.
Keeping it even. Just, you know.
There's a little bit of PC magic there. That's a lot of siege, a lot of mangoes that you can't really take. Like I said, you need a lot of horsemen here. You need a lot of horsemen, a lot of raids. Try to get that flank on the siege, because, I mean, you know, 18 hand cannons is great, but you don't want to lose them in 2 shots.
Yeah, 3 trebs are also pretty good against that.
Yeah. These, you know, I don't know if he had the upgrade in terms of the mango upgrade, but that's when mangoes really hit.
Yeah, bringing them back to their beefy self that they were pre-nerf. You can see a couple shots connecting on the spears. Looks like hand cannons are trying to target culverins as well from the back. 2 mangoes are down. Muhodo not eliminated from this game yet. Now with the villager number advantage. And we've got closing in on 4 minutes on the sacred site timer.
Yeah, no, it looks like Muhodo's relatively okay here, maybe. I mean, compared to maybe a minute ago, definitely.
Yeah.
Now he has the food economy. Definitely, you know, better food economy than Valdemar right now, and he has the upgrades that he needs. He has premium units. He has 20 hand cannons with a lot more in queue. He has good gold income. He still doesn't. He still has this little wall kind of annoying him, but it looks like he dropped a hole in there, so securing the back of his base. Very nice.
He's able to move out there. We do see Vills being pulled from Muhodo to try to torch down the outpost, guarding that large gold. Valdemar is going to wall in behind, keep these Vills trapped. That is a fortified outpost. It's going to take a lot of torches to knock that one down.
I'm not even sure they're gonna get it, but um, I guess it doesn't really matter. Muhodo doesn't care about the villagers that much.
He's got
The
Suave. He's
villager
like, he
kill.
can be replaced. He's still, I mean, losing so many under that tower. Still ahead in Vil count. Horseman, though,
I mean,
able to find a big pack for Valdemar on the wood.
Yeah, I mean, let's remember, Valdemar, he needs villagers, and his villagers are valuable. There's 2 TC only, um, whereas Muhodo, I mean, think about it. He didn't care about his villagers when he had 70 villagers, and there was a 20 villager gap. He doesn't care about them at all right now. So, on the other hand, Valdemar definitely wants to protect those villagers. You can't really easily make them replace them, right? As Muhodo can.
That's absolutely right, yeah. Swabia just so powerful when it comes to just pumping out those vills. We do see the potential for sacred sites to be decapped. We're under 3 minutes at this point. Muhodo trying to get a keep up, and now it's Valdemar's turn to take his vills with the shivs, trying to deny this keep. He has more villagers, and I think that's going to be a more successful venture than we saw earlier. But it will be a race to see if that goes up. More coming in, though, from Muhodo. So this keep will be secured on the left side sacred site as Valdemar drops a keep of his own on the giant stone to the south of the HRE base. This game has taken us everywhere. This is
Yeah, I mean, Muhodo
nutty
says,
game.
I got more villagers where that came from, so no problem at all. But yeah, Valdemar's really hell-bent on denying this corner of the map that's on the other side. And he's doing a good job, I guess, because no resources have been gathered here. He is vacuuming up that stone mine, so I guess that's kind of the plan here. But yeah, like I said, the keep goes up, and he's probably going to be able to decap that. Now he has to have a unit on there, but I think that's relatively no problem.
Yeah, he should be fine with that. Valdemar now moving his forces. We're going to have an engagement on that side of the wall. Hand cannons, culverins doing pretty good work against any Abbasid unit that gets a little too far forward. Now we've got, it looks like the main engagement. The horsemen were busy, distracted by that palisade wall for a second. Letting, I think, Valdemar get some additional hits that he might not normally have. There's still some camels in the mix, debuffing those horses. But that final camel is going to go down. Muhodo with not a lot of units here.
Yeah, the hand cannon mass kind of melted pretty quickly because there's just so many crossbows, and like you said, the horsemen and kind of frontline melee mass was all distracted. But we do get a decap, so the timer will reset. And he, Muhodo has good income. He just has to remass, kind of pull back, reset, and go from there. But there is a big military advantage from Valdemar right now, and this, production is also being built forward, so
yeah, that's tough. Yeah, production's going up right where Valdemar's military currently is, which really hurts. We do have some more production in the back, of course, but that new production is not going to be able to be used really at all here. Valdemar coming with a keep drop again.
Another one.
Seen a million keeps this game. Establishing this right in Muhodo's production. Muhodo, though, with a mass of horsemen, trying to thin out the Gulam numbers.
The Vilpool for the sea.
Oh, there they are in the back. Yeah, on the culverins.
I don't think we wouldn't get anyone, right? Because there's villagers of his own for Valdemar repairing that up, and the keep does go up. If you're Muhodo, these keeps are annoying as hell, man. Like everywhere. It's behind your base, in front of your base, on sideways, towers, keeps. What is this?
And there's another one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Muhodo now getting choked out. He was looking good for a little bit there, able to push out of his base, but the walls closing in again on him. Valdemar with the culverins looking to push in, start taking out those landmarks, close out this game.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is he has the income in terms of Muhammad has the income, but he doesn't have any banked up resources. He has a huge army in his base, and there's just crawling keeps, a lot of siege workshops. I don't now it's back in a pickle. You're in a
Hmm.
bad position. There was some vulnerability while Valdemar was aging up, right? And then now it's kind of back to square. There's a keeping in my face, and there's siege situation.
And now I can't expand out of here. Yeah. You can see all that forward production just useless at this point, unfortunately. Horsemen coming in to thin out the culver numbers. There are vills there to
Oop.
repair. He'll get one culver in, but it took about 10 to 12 horsemen to do it. Little raids, not getting too deep into the farmland for Muhodo, but crossbows are pushing in from Valdemar. It seems
Yeah, I
like
mean this
this is
game.
going to be the end.
I mean, this game, ever since Muhodo aged up, has been on Muhodo's side of the map, right? Constant aggro by Valdemar. No units have crossed through that. He's not even fully walled, but no units have crossed in there. Valdemar's base, killing any units. Because, like I said, Valdemar's only on 2 TC, right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and GG gets
There it
called.
is. Yeah,
That
it
was
gets
that,
called
that
at
was a
this point.
nice that was a nice comeback a little bit, but at the end of maybe it was, I'm not sure. Was that just a bad fight? I'm not sure what happened at the end because it looked like Mahoda was in a good position.
Yeah, I think it was a bad fight with. I think he had that issue, that engagement with the hand cannons that basically all died because the horsemen couldn't keep up a good front line. I think that was a pretty expensive loss, and then, just the the production area, those buildings going up right basically under the feet of Valdemar's army, unfortunately. Uh,
Yeah.
it felt like he couldn't get that military count back up.
I mean, this is kind of mind-boggling, right? It's 2 TC military wing, and it's a 13-minute imp by Mahodo, and with 4 relics. And after all that,
On paper,
I think it's
there's
just
no way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's you tell me, HRE has pro scouts, got 3 packs of deal, full, 3 full packs under the Aken, aged up at 13 minutes, was able to put good pressure. The opponent doesn't have any farms, HRE does. And even so, I mean, the villager count went up right to even, like we said, right? But I think Valdemar was just able to do damage and idle out the economy so much. And I think Mahodo was a little careless with the villagers at the beginning. I mean, he did want to get rid of the keep and also get rid of the siege, but because that's just so much siege, you can't really fight into it. But I think the horseman transition could have gone a little earlier, but I mean, it's just kind of tough. It's just such a good push, good timing push, and lack of towers.
Yeah, just the lack of defense and then just moving out to take exposed resources over the safer ones. Pretty wild that the 2 golds that you would imagine the HRE would be their safe golds were the last two
We're not
golds
safe
that he
at all.
tried to go for. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Pretty.
got to be super annoying, right? If you're Moto, you're like, what is going on? My back 2 goals are towered, they're walled, and then they're keeped after as well. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that pressure from Valdemar was pretty brutal. Pretty psychological too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, ever since the age up, it's been kind of on defense, right? Kind of trying to survive and losing so much map control. So much map control that, in fact, all of the golds on the map are, a great awareness in terms of where his opponent's getting resources by Valdemar. But yeah, it's just giving up so much map control, and even the timer goes under, what was it, 3 minutes or something? So 3, 4
Mm-hmm.
minutes. So yeah, just a huge loss of map, control and resource control. But even then, HRE was decent position. He had that army. He probably win fights. And I think, yeah, maybe that hand cannon near mass being thinned down is that's what a little hard to replace with the food income. And the other thing with HRE is once you are in that position where the enemy are, you know, as a bigger military and in your base, all your farms or most of your farms that are important are under the Aachen, right? They know exactly where that food
Mm-hmm.
income is. and the production. And Valdemar with his keeps, another keep, all over the place, just crawling up with that big siege match, was able to take the win.